At dawn, the rescue ship Star Harbor cut through the icy winds of the northern seas, its hull humming with the sound of the engine and the endless whisper of the ocean. 12 crew members, dressed in bright blue protective suits, tirelessly scanned the horizon, looking for any signs of distress among the sea creatures. They had been plowing through the icy waters for 4 days, where the cold penetrated to the bone, and floating ice floes threatened to shatter any dreams of adventure. But the team's spirit remained unyielding. Everyone knew that their rescue mission not only brought life back to sea creatures, but also strengthened their faith in goodness and humanity. When the first rays of the sun lit up the horizon, a pod of dolphins appeared in the distance. They circled gracefully around the ship, as if performing a dance, and their leaps seemed to signal something important. Captain Oleg, an experienced sailor with 20 years of experience, immediately became alert. His gaze, accustomed to catching the slightest changes in the sea surface, noticed a dark silhouette among the drifting ice floes. It was a huge blue whale, one of the largest inhabitants of the ocean, but its movements were sluggish, almost lifeless. Its skin, usually smooth and shiny, was covered with a thick layer of sea acorns and shells that, like parasites, had eaten into its body. The whale's eyes, huge and deep, expressed a mixture of fatigue and a plea for help. Senior Assistant Marina, who was in charge of the medical part of the expedition, quickly assessed the situation. The whale was so weak that it could barely move its fins. A hoarse moan came from its blowhole, like a desperate cry for help. This sound echoed in the hearts of the crew, and everyone felt an urgent need to act. "We can't abandon it," Oleg said firmly, his voice full of determination and his eyes shining with compassion. The crew immediately sent a distress signal to the coordination center, requesting instructions and permission to carry out a complex rescue operation in harsh conditions. While they waited for a response, the team began preparations. They checked the ropes, cranes, and medical supplies, antibiotics, antiseptics, bandages, and special ointments for treating marine mammals. The center soon gave the go-ahead, and Oleg selected 6 of the most experienced crew members to carry out the mission. Their task was not easy: to lift the whale onto the deck to remove parasites and treat its wounds. Marina, along with 2 assistants, developed a plan to safely secure the ropes around the whale's massive body, avoiding damaged areas of skin. This required precision, as any wrong move could cause the whale even more pain. The rest of the team prepared the deck. They laid out soft mats to cushion the pressure on the whale's body, and prepared hoses with warm seawater to wash the wounds. When everything was ready, the team got to work. The ropes were carefully tied around the whale, and the crane slowly began to lift it out of the icy water. Streams of water flowed down its body like tears from the ocean, bidding farewell to its giant. As soon as the whale was on deck, the crew smelled the pungent odor of festering wounds, the result of a long-term infection caused by barnacles. Oleg put on special gloves and began carefully removing the barnacles, one by one. Each parasite removed revealed inflamed, bleeding areas of skin, and the captain couldn't help but sigh when he saw how much the animal had suffered. Marina, standing nearby, supervised the treatment process. She carefully examined each wound, cleaned it with antiseptic, and applied healing ointments. Her assistants gently washed the whale's skin with warm water to soften the hard growths and make them easier to remove. Other crew members not involved in the operation monitored the whale's condition, encouraging it with quiet words, as if it could understand their support. Surprisingly, the whale remained calm, only occasionally letting out deep sighs, as if sensing that these people were there to help. Hour after hour, the crew worked without interruption. Layer after layer of shells fell onto the deck, exposing the whale's wounded but still living skin. Marina and her team treated the deep wounds with special gels that accelerated healing and prevented infection. They also massaged the whale's skin to restore blood circulation and help it regain its strength. Gradually, the whale's breathing became deeper and more even, and its eyes seemed to light up with a spark of hope. After nearly 10 hours of continuous work, the crew completed the removal of all parasites. The whale's skin, although covered with scars, looked cleaner, and the risk of infection was significantly reduced. Marina checked all the treated areas once more, making sure the whale was ready to return to the sea. Oleg, looking at the giant, felt pride and relief fill his heart. "It was worth it," he said quietly, and the team nodded in agreement. To safely return the whale to the water, the crew secured the ropes and slowly began lowering it to the edge of the deck. The cold wind grew stronger, and thick fog enveloped the ship. But this could not stop the crew. Waves crashed against the ship's side, as if calling the whale back to its native element. When the crane began to lower the animal, everyone held their breath. The whale gently touched the water, and suddenly its body came to life. It made a powerful sweep of its tail, raising a fountain of spray. A moment later, the whale was completely submerged in the sea. It flapped its fins several times, as if testing its strength, and then dove deeper, leaving behind a whirlpool that swirled on the surface. Seagulls flew over the ship, their cries sounding like a hymn to rebirth. The crew, standing at the rail, burst into applause. Some wiped away tears mixed with smiles, as if seeing off a close friend who had returned to life. The Star Harbor weighed anchor and continued on its way, carrying with it memories of this mission. Every member of the crew felt that their efforts had not been in vain. They had given freedom to one of the ocean's greatest creatures, and strengthened their belief that even in the harshest conditions, human kindness can work wonders. Oleg stood on the bridge, looking at the horizon where the last rays of the sun were dissolving into the sea, and thought that moments like these made their work truly meaningful. As the ship disappeared into the fog, the dolphins, like old friends, reappeared alongside, accompanying the Star Harbor on its next journey. The crew knew that new challenges awaited them ahead, but this victory would forever remain in their hearts, as a reminder that even one life saved can change the world. Friends, thank you for taking the time to read this story. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to support us and learn about new adventures.